Welcome to my humble little office. My name is R. Keith Andrews. I am a spiritual guide and paranormal adept. The journey continues today on April 15th, 2021 at approximately 7:56 a.m. PST. I had some really interesting conversations yesterday, and a lot of it had to do with the whole idea of whether or not to fear God. The people I was talking to suggested that if you take what you're being taught to fear God, and by whatever name, and simply respect him, okay, or her, or whatever you want to call it, we'll probably be closer to on the same track. It's kind of like when they say, when you're told respect your elders. Well, that's a great idea if they're not beating the heck out of you. Okay. When people talk about respect, it really boils down to this. Respect everybody you run into. But if they're disrespecting you in a rather blatant fashion, or for that matter, even in a minor one, if you're feeling disrespected, you're going to find it very difficult in all likelihood to turn around and respect them in return. Okay. It's like when people tell you this is what you should be doing. How do you take somebody's word for it that what they're telling you is a good thing if they aren't following the same concepts they're telling you? I was talking to a financial advisor one day, and he was touting all this stuff. All this stuff you should invest in. And we stopped and looked at him and says, one question for you. We can follow what you're saying. It all sounds great. But have you got any of this product? And he goes, absolutely not. And I said, so why are you telling me to invest in it? He goes, because I work for the bank. And the bank has told me to sell these products. He says, I personally won't touch them. Right. Now, somebody like that I will much more readily deal with. Like when I went to get the power system for the new computer I just bought. I went in telling the guy, I blew the extension cord, the multi-socket that I had, the multi-plug that I had, and I needed a good replacement. And he says, here are the less expensive ones. And we looked at him and went, we just spent $1,500 on a brand new system. The idea of going low end for protecting it doesn't seem to make sense. So he turns around and he pointed out the top of the line. He goes, here's the top of the line. It's got all these extra bells and whistles. But he goes, when I deal with the customers, I've gotten questions around the quality of this product. This other one that's about $40 cheaper is one that I get nothing but rave reviews about. Right. And so we told him we'll take the least expensive one. As a salesperson for a company, my understanding is you're supposed to push the price up. This guy sold it down. But he sold it down in a way that will make me go back to the same company. Okay. Which means I will continue dealing with them and they'll make a lot more money over the time that I'm around. Tell you, the best thing I could have done for that left arm of mine was put the coffee over there. Lord knows I probably drink too much of it, but the doctor doesn't seem to think so. Of course, that has to do with the level of coffee that I've got in it, or the amount of coffee. But when we start looking at the world on the whole, okay, I started this journey as a response to a number of people that had asked us to get the information onto a recording, onto video, and get it out to people. Now, it started off that's how why I started doing it. I tried doing a number of videos before, but I found very quickly that it was helping me get my day started, which meant it went from somebody else encouraging me to do it and me finding a reason for it working for me. Since then, I walked through the whole 9 yards of how I was changing things around here. And yeah, I haven't got the light fixed. That being said, I will be moving the recording side of the office over to that side afterwards. Still trying to get the new computer up and running, but hey, we'll work with what we got. Okay, now, that said, I got started talking about how I was changing things, and these are the tools that I'm personally using. Okay, I'm not the best of the best, but the tools work, and we know this because I'm using them myself, and I have handed them over to a number of different clients, a number of different people that I know of, and gone, this is what you've got to do. You know, this is what worked for me, give it a shot. And almost invariably, they come back to me and go, it worked like a charm. I don't know why I didn't do it before. Well, then I got taking a look at it, and I'm looking at four different streamlines. The journey, I was looking at spirituality, okay, at business, and at the UFOs. Well, here's the thing. Spirituality, home life, business are all directly tied to each other. Okay, which is why I've taken to merging the bunch, so I'm not doing as many different video streams. Okay, I probably should, but that's why I've decided what I'm going to do with those three, combining them. As I go into different aspects, in the description below, I'll give you a heads up on what I'm covering. Okay, it's all tied towards the same thing, which is personal success. Now, again, and I think I'm sure I've mentioned this before. When it comes to success, the first thing that has to happen is you've got to decide what you consider is success. Well, that works well. We'll put those over there. You have to decide what you consider is success for you. I cannot tell you that. I can tell you what is success for me. Okay. For me, it boiled down to this. Get rid of the junk that I've got. Get debt free was number one on the list. I had to get to the point where I was not owing anybody anything in an abnormal fashion. Okay, at least in one that I wasn't content with. That got accommodated. Okay, now it's a question of making sure I keep it that way and bring my income, bring my balances up by the end of this month. And that I will know at the end of the month how well it's done. I already know that the goal I had for my business, Inner Voice Enterprises, I've already made what I required for the month. Okay, now I just keep pushing it. And then, of course, at the beginning of May, we'll discuss what to do when you hit that goal. Okay, right now, actually, we can do that at this point, because right now, to run my household requires $2,000. That covers my rent, my utilities, my insurance, my gas, my food, my transportation, and my food. Okay, plus entertainment. Now, because I've already hit that point, where am I sitting here? This is where a scratch sheet of paper comes in real handy. And one day I'll be able to write over there again, but for the moment, not. By the way, there's that neat little list I told you I left it up front somewhere. Right about there, working on it. But we've already, let's call up this thing. Yeah, we do multiple things all at the same time, but the reality of it is it works, at least for us. Okay. So, we open that up, and because what we're going into here, no, we're not going to show it on the computer. Okay, we're just not. But we look into this, and we go to that funny little page there, and what do we got? Contract. Okay, so we are already over limit here of what we had to make. Okay, which is absolutely great. We gotta correct that, so we gotta make a note for that. Put it there. Again, when something comes to your mind, okay, the way to get to success is figure out the little things. And I find the notepad is really handy. Okay, is really handy for keeping your goals and your tasks in line. Boy, I stuttered over that badly. This is a live recording. In other words, I don't go back and edit anything. Okay. Worst case scenario, I get to the end of it and find out that oops, I said the date wrong like I did the other day. At which point I scratch the whole thing and do it all over. Okay. The nice little part about it is making notes saves me the hassle of trying to remember what I've got to get done. Same thing will work for you. As I said before, you start off with 3 on the list. Now I get carried away. Okay. Start off with 3 things that you desire to get done, that you know have to get out of the way because they're just there and they're annoying. Where do you start? Wherever you're sitting right this moment, turn around, grab a sheet of paper, and write down the first 3 things that come to mind that you've got to clear up. Okay, doesn't matter what it is. Write them down. Do your best to keep them to 15-minute to half-hour jobs. Okay, when you get one finished, check it off and add a 3rd one. Okay, that will get you on the right track. Okay, I know this because frankly it got me on the right track, and if anything that can get me on the right track is certain to be able to help you. Okay, now again, because I deal with people from every walk of life, if you are blind, take the time to put your notices, your list of chores and what have you, in an auditory format that works for you. Okay, I don't use an auditory format because, well, frankly, I don't require it. Okay, you put your list together. Now, if you've got questions, or more to the point, when you have questions, at the bottom of this video, you'll find a list of contact points to get a hold of me. Drop me a line, preferably text or email. Okay, drop me a message through here. I do my best to get back to these. You'll see when you look at the list, I'm on Facebook, on Skype, on LinkedIn, and on Twitter. Okay, so getting a hold of me is not that hard. Okay, drop me a line if you've got questions, if you've got concerns. There are a few questions that really fall under the classification of being stupid. Although we have heard some that were really kind of, shall we say, borderline, right? That said, give us a thumbs up on the video, subscribe to our channel so you can get the rest of the information, because there is a staggering amount of it. My long-term goal with the whole journey is to go from none to global coverage. Now, obviously, where it comes to the videos, okay, we're on the internet, therefore, obviously, we've got global coverage. But I'm referring to getting the subscription levels up to a top level. Now, yesterday, and I haven't checked this morning yet, but yesterday I was only sitting at 106, which is tiny compared to the big wigs. They've been at it longer, a lot longer. Okay, but anybody that's starting a business of any form, okay, other people have likely started similar businesses and are doing very well. Take a look at any of the existing restaurant chains. They didn't start off with several dozen chains and several dozen outlets. Okay, hotel chains did not start out with several dozen hotels. They started off with one. But if one person can make a go of it, so can anybody else. And this idea of it's really competitive out there, well, let's see, there's about 7.5 billion people. Yeah, we can say somebody else is doing what you're doing. You're not likely to be the best. You're not likely to be the worst. But with proper effort and proper guidelines, you can make it happen. Okay, most of the information that I talk about here, quite frankly, I've got in book form that can be ordered directly through me. Okay, you can see the list of the different books that I've already written. Okay, and you can order them directly through the links below. Doesn't matter what you dream. Figure out what you feel is success for you. For me, I'm making headway. Okay, finances are going properly. I'll finish tying those off today. Okay, health is an interesting mess, but we've got people looking into it for us. And we're looking into it as well. Okay, and of course, getting rid of the junk. You've seen things change from behind me here. And they are getting better. Even to the point that I've got my figures now moved over here. Okay, these are the guys I'm going to be starting to paint. Now, I can't reach the ones I am painting. I'll be dealing with those today as well. And again, it boils down to an issue of having things to do to keep us occupied. Now, where it comes to what you consider success, and I just want that. I think I saw that, right? Yep. First rule of thumb. Figure out what you feel determines success. That's what you go after. Okay. But bear in mind, follow karmic law. Be true to yourself. Do unto others as you desire them to do unto you. Energy out, energy in. Okay. And understand the only person on the planet that you can be successful for, that can be successful for you, is you. Okay. You can talk to all the people you desire, but I encourage you to talk to people that have successfully done what you're aiming for. Okay, I was told one day by somebody, while I was striving to get out of debt, I was told by one person, well, because we asked him, how the heck do you avoid going further into debt? How do you survive? He says, number one rule, never, ever, ever, if you can absolutely avoid it at all, never borrow money. Never make payments on something. If you've got to make payments, put the money aside, payment at a time, until you can afford to buy the thing outright. Now, there are extenuating circumstances. Okay, many times, especially if you're a homeowner or you've got your own laundry facilities in your apartment, if you blow a washing machine, you're going to have to go out and get another one. Or you got to go to the laundromat, and it's up to you which way you want to go. In my case, I spent almost a year going upstairs to the laundry room in the apartment block here. Okay, I could have gone and bought a washer and dryer on payment, and decided no, I can deal with the hassle of going upstairs until I can afford one. Well, I now have one, and the trick to it was this: going, yes, that's something I desire. Is it something that is absolutely required right now? The answer is no, it wasn't. Same applies with computer toys and what have you. If you can work with what you've got, do so. If you can't, then absolutely look at getting a new one. But watch your interest rates and your payment plans. Okay, there's a lot that goes into that, and I strongly encourage you to talk to a financial advisor or somebody that has successfully got what they got ahead and done the things you're aiming at doing. In my case, I managed to get debt free. I've managed to get most of my health issues sorted around. Still got a few, but I'm also now working directly in tandem with the doctors. Much as I personally do not like doctors, I don't trust them. Okay, they still have more medical knowledge than I do. So I take what they tell me, I double check on what the effects are of it, what the ramifications are of it, and I start working with it. Now, I know that there's a number of things that I have to deal with, but these are things that I've been successful at. Okay, and I do encourage you to talk to people that are. If you're aiming at being a millionaire, okay, give me a couple of years, I may be able to help. But I will tell you this. Right now, I'm not a millionaire, so I can't tell you this is necessarily the way. I can tell you at the bottom of the mountain, if you do this, that's where you're heading. Because before you get to be a millionaire, you got to be debt-free, or at least it'll be an idea. You don't technically have to be debt-free to be a millionaire. I just personally don't like owing people. Okay. Definitely the right move, putting the coffee over there. Okay, what is success to you? What are you not content with in your life? Okay, are you now? Here's one that I found was really helpful, especially if you've got self-esteem concerns. Okay, I've mentioned the sign with 4 words. I am worth it. Put that, and frankly, I suggest 2 places. Put it on your fridge, because everybody reads it. It will help bring the energy in the house up. Okay, and put it wherever you work on on any of your exercise, your finances, doesn't matter. Whatever your hobbies are that are taking up your time, have that sign handy. They are the 4 most powerful words that I've come across this lifetime regarding self-esteem and rebuilding it. Okay, to become successful in your eyes, the common denominators I found is you have to have a purpose. Why are you doing it? Who are you doing it for? That sort of thing. You've heard of the 5 W's, I think. Who, what, where, when, and why. Answer those 5 questions, then you get to the final one, which is how. Okay, which isn't a W, by the way, it's an H. But I think you figured that one out. When you answer those 5 questions, those 6 questions, you now have hit the number of prosperity as well. Okay, 6 being the number of prosperity. Now understand, some people will say 6 isn't the number of prosperity. I don't use standard numerology, I use base 12. Okay, and yeah, I'm in the middle of writing something down about that as well, because base 10 works great for the most part, but there are some kinks that I found in it. Okay, when you figure out what you are aiming for, that's when you go after it. When people tell you, oh, that you're shooting too far, you're way over, you're thinking way too big, you can't get there. You know, can't get there doesn't apply. Okay, and if you listen to the earlier videos I did with the subtitled language, look up the one I did on can't. Okay, and there's a number of other words that are similarly counterproductive. Look them up, listen to them. Most of my videos I've left at the half-hour mark because of the fact that it takes time to do things. And yes, you have noticed undoubtedly that I do repeat myself. But I also find that helps keep me focused as well as hopefully keeping you focused. Okay, I had a conversation with a young lady just the other day. She called us up, and we laid a few things out for her. Between us, we managed to get her head on straight, and she is now set to really make a change in her life. Okay, because I deal with people one-on-one as well as the videos. The videos I would like to see go into the well, we're starting at 100. Well, we've got 106, I think, right now. We will keep you posted on that. We're aiming to get into the thousands, into the hundreds of thousands, and into the millions eventually. Okay, the reality is this. We see everybody exactly the same way. You are all equally valuable. Okay, you all have equal worth. That does not mean financially. Financially, life is built on a pyramid. So when people talk about, oh, that's a pyramid scheme, understand all life is built on a pyramid. If your parents, if you're a parent and you've got parents above you, okay, your parents have more knowledge than you do. You've got more knowledge than your kids. And in all fairness, people working, if you've been at the job for a while and you've got seniority, the odds are you're making more money than the newcomer coming in. But you've got the experience, you've got the knowledge. This doesn't mean you should be treated better than other people, but it does stand to reason that you get paid a little better. There will always be somebody better than you. There will always be somebody worse. Okay, always somebody in better shape, always somebody in worse shape. The trick is to see everybody as being of equal value. Treat everybody the way you desire to be treated. Okay, if you do that, you'll find your life goes a whole lot more smoothly. Okay, and like I've mentioned before, if we all take care of our own little home, get rid of the stuff that we're not content with, okay, providing it does not countermand karmic law, then by extrapolation, as everybody starts to get rid of the stuff they don't desire, it gets removed, and the community will become a community that everybody's content in. Okay, which means together we can wipe out war without firing a bullet. War has never brought lasting peace. It's brought quiet, not peace. Okay, but we can wipe out war, we can wipe out famine, we can wipe out poverty. And yeah, I know there's those of you, well, I've got more, I don't want to give away my money. Okay, don't. Do not shorten, do not put yourself out at, well, do not get rid of that which you feel you require. But what I am asking is that you stop treating people that don't have as much as though they're not as important or as valuable as you. And then, of course, you get the people going, well, I own such and such a business. I run such and such a business. I heard somebody the other day that literally said they were so rich they couldn't get sick by COVID. Okay. Well, I'm telling you, that's got to be one of the densest things I've heard a wealthy person say in a very long time. Or anybody, for that matter. Okay. You cannot have enough money to avoid illness. Okay, you can certainly have a mindset and a heart set that will countervene it. But the amount of money you've got, the virus doesn't care. It really doesn't. Working together, okay, treating each other as we desire to be treated, will generate a better world for everybody. Like the restaurant that I go to right now, they've opened their patio early. They usually open it a few months down the road, but because of this whole COVID thing, they were shut down for a few weeks, and they opened their restaurant. They opened the patio up to accommodate some of us. So, of course, the regulars are still going there because they're a decent company. And, well, let's face it, we enjoy going there. They're taking the time to keep their restaurant open instead of closing and saying, scrap it. Okay, they're taking the time to open it and trying to make things work. In my opinion, if you've got a restaurant that you like going to, go when you can, when it's safe to do so. Okay, even if it's not exactly what you were planning on doing, it is beneficial. Okay, again, working together. Doesn't matter what your religion, doesn't matter what your political alignment. Together we can make this world a much better place. A much more enjoyable place without all the excess stress, without all the illness, without all the war, without all the conflict. You know, when you remove all that, what you have is paradise. And I do personally believe it is time for us to return to paradise. To get back to a world where people help each other, where people talk to each other without worrying so much about, am I saying it exactly the right way? Because here's the thing. You cannot control how somebody else is going to perceive what you say or what you do. The only thing you can do is control how you respond to their response. Okay. It's like when I told people I do not desire to be on a pedestal. And this one chap, he looks at me and he goes, whether other people put you on a pedestal or not is not the problem. It's when you start seeing yourself as being on that pedestal and deserving better treatment than everybody else. That's when it becomes a problem. Now, with that in mind, I'm going to bring this to a close. Again, give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and we will talk to you again tomorrow. Okay, at some point. Anyway, until we meet again, take care of yourselves and each other. And for pity's sakes, stay positive.